Yo, it's your boy BIG A&T back with another episode of the Can I Kick It podcast, special bonus gaming episode. Today's guests are my dog T and my dog Love. Say what's up to everybody.
What's up,
Hey
guys?
y'all.
Yeah, these in the gaming world, these are my dads. They're clearly better at Destiny than I am. Gonna get into some good old lore. Not really much lore, but talk about Destiny 1, Destiny 2, what we like, what we don't like, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just gonna start off with the most basic question of all. What do you guys love and what do you guys hate about Destiny 2, like as the current state of the game?
Jared, do you want to go first?
Nope, but I'm gonna.
All right, go for it.
So what I love about Destiny 2 is basically what I love about Destiny 1, right? So you have this game where you have so many different ways you can play it, right? You can play it as an RPG, you can level up and get cool loot, doing all kinds of weird ass encounters.
Mhm.
Or you can just kill other people. You can play PvP. And I have yet to play a game that I feel like perfectly meshes PvE and PvP together. I love the gunplay. Bungie obviously knows how to make good shooters. They've done it for years. It's amazing. And I think the problems that I have with Destiny 2 and the reasons that I hate it, they all come from the point of view I have is I am so invested in the game that when you play something for so long, you tend to pick up on things, sometimes just little things, not even big things that you don't like about it. And I think just the passion for the game kind of ruins it in a way, so to speak. I've got still thousands of hours that I've put into the game. I clearly love it. But when you play something for so long and it becomes so second nature, you pick up on stuff that doesn't jive right with you. So specifically, balancing issues, just quality of life stuff. It just certain things kind of piss me off, but overall, like I said, I still play the game every day, so I can't hate it too much.
Yeah. Before we get to T's response, I want to touch on something real quick. When you said balancing, do you think it takes away from the likeness of you wanting to play the game, more and more and more each day? Obviously, me and you, not T so much, unfortunately, but we've been playing since beta day one, and that's a total of 6 years. And when you talk about balancing, do you think that it hinders you to want to play more and more and more, that it takes so long for them to act upon like fixing quality of life issues as such as like balancing stuff like that?
Right. I think it does to an extent. And like I said a while ago, there's different ways you can play. And even in PvP, I can get on and I can dick around and just have a good time and try dumb shit that I usually don't use and have fun. But on the other end, I can play competitively. I can play to win and get rewards from in-game activities. When I'm playing quick play, when I'm just messing around, the balancing stuff, I don't really think about it that much. When I'm playing competitively, when I'm playing to win, definitely the balancing issues are glaring, and it's a real problem.
Facts.
For sure.
T, what about you? Let's hear what you got to say, Dad.
I'm definitely in the same boat as Love here. Whenever talking about things like gunplay, it feels so good to just shoot pretty much any gun inside of Destiny. I haven't really encountered a gun that I feel like, man, this thing feels terrible. Even some of the white weapons, me and Love, we'll mess around with Headstrong from time to time, and that's one of my favorite guns.
Big facts.
And even those guns feel good. So really, just shooting a weapon in Destiny is one of my favorite things to do. And another big thing I like to do is, because it's the time to kill is so different from games like Call of Duty or Battlefield or something like that. A big difference is you have time to really put the moves on your opponent and mind game, and I love that. I come from like a I played Super Smash Brothers competitively first before I played Destiny like
Yeah.
mildly competitively. So I would say that being able to put mind games and have like that neutral game like you do in a fighting game is one of my favorite parts by far. Like just being able to, I play hunters, so I'm real big into movement, and just being able to like dodge one way, jump another, maybe come from behind, maybe do the
Hmm.
exact same thing, but this time you land in front of them instead of behind, but they're already turning around looking for you, and you're mixing them up constantly. It feels like a fighting game built into a shooter, and I love that. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, and
Um,
I can't stand the hunter's mobility. I think it's I think because the thing is they have some of like the like underrated exotics that can boost each class, and it gets me like super tilted. Like when Jen found out about the jesters, oh my god, Rat King jesters, and she wanted to 1v1 me. I would never felt the same after that. And it's just like I feel like the comparison is really well too because I'm a big fighting game enthusiast too from back when, from my heydays like Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, like around there, and then I started picking up more seriously, when I got older, and more recently now that I'm playing like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. And it's more of a mentality game because I feel like in Destiny, also with fighting games, you can tilt your opponent, and then that is such a big factor in it because then like you make them lose their concentration. Hence, like when we play trials or when you guys play trials with me, like I get super tilted and I fucking get off the game. Um,
yeah.
and that I can super side with because it's a big factor in it. And like how you said, like it's crazy how certain classes can do certain things, like Jen
Mhm.
main's a Titan. She likes to play in your face, high resilience, and she uses syntheseps, and it pisses me off. And then she'll get on her hunter and put on the jesters, and it pisses me off. It's like
Yeah.
every character has a certain like loadout, I guess you can say, and it just makes the character, it enhances them. I guess that's why they call it an exotic from the jump. But I
Mhm.
kind of dig that comparison of the fighting game and Destiny because the mind games. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite parts for sure. As far as like going into what I don't like about the game,
Yeah.
so I'm a PV player. Almost have 2,000 hours of Crucible time alone into Destiny 2. Like I didn't even play D1,
Mm,
and I think my biggest issue is the skill room is too small, and I'll kind of elaborate on that a bit more. So in a lot of games, there's a skill floor, and then there's a
yeah.
skill ceiling. I think the floor and the ceiling are just a little bit too close to each other right now. And there's a couple of things that contribute to that. There's really strong exotics. There's crazy primary weapons, some of which are too good. And
Yeah.
then there's special weapons and heavy weapons, which I think really narrow that skill ceiling. Like, I mean, unless you're love, have you tried to get a kill with the Wardcliff coil? Like, it's the easiest thing in the world. All you gotta do is press right trigger. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't know what happens to Love's ward clips. They just go all over the place. But um, it's such a small room when you apply those things that it makes that skill room just smaller. Like the floor and the ceiling are too close to each other. So I would really like to see those like expand and go away from
Yeah.
one another. So that way the ceiling can go so much higher, but the skill floor is low. So that way, new players coming in aren't like, man, this is frustrating. Like, could you imagine if you're a brand new player and you come in and you're going up against like a team of 6
Yeah.
in quick play, and you don't know what you're doing. You got a auto rifle and a pulse rifle equipped because you're like, oh, two rifles. That's what I do in every other,
Yeah. Pretty much.
FPS.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. And then you get destroyed, and then it's like, well, I don't know what just happened, and you never go back into PvP again because of that. I just want to see that the skill ceiling and the skill floor just be much further. I want a taller room. That's probably my like biggest dislike about Destiny, I would say.
I could dig it. I could dig it. And I think it's more like for me. I think it's more because it's gotten to the state where it's just like the same weapons over and over again. And it's like some of the weapons are so strong. It's like nobody else uses anything else, and then it's like it's like a repeating factor. It's like I'm watching the same episode of the show every day. You know what I'm saying? It's like I could tell you the millions and millions of times I got killed with a mind bender, or I got mapped with a air intel, or it's just like the same like top five, top six guns in every aspect of the game, every game mode and stuff like that. I feel like there's a lesser variety of stronger weapons that can make you play a different certain way. And I understand that goes back to Love's comment with the balancing and everything like that. And I don't expect them to get it right every season or every week or every TWAB or anything like that. But it's just a shame that it comes to the point where there's so many guns out there, but like not all of them are being used, and then the ones that are really strong are the ones that are the only ones being used. So like I can take into effect of like the gunplay being a bigger factor skill gap wise, because some of these guns don't take much skill to use at all, and it makes it seem like that person outplayed you or is a better player than you. And 99% of the time it's like if they put a different type of gun in their hand, they'd actually have to use a little bit more skill. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got a blue shotty, then you got a mind bender, then you got well, minus the headstrong, you got a white hand cannon, and you got the last word. It's like there's certain different channels and avenues that I think that need to be like addressed as far as like gameplay and balancing and stuff like that, because I think it's more of the guns than anything, because Destiny is not a hard game. I don't think so.
No.
To me,
Right.
it's
Not
it's not
yeah.
it's not a hard game.
It's yeah.
Like I can get on Call of Duty and think it's like it's a different mind state, or when I play Gears of War, it's a different mind state. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And kind of speaking to T's point about the skill ceiling and the skill floor, and what I was saying about balancing, both of those problems, in my opinion, are from the same root problem.
Hmm.
And I think it's that Destiny has an identity crisis. I don't think they know what kind of game they want to make PvP wise.
Yeah.
The reason why we have these guns and these exotics and sometimes these abilities that seem overpowered, they want new people coming in to feel powerful. They want them to feel like they're playing on an even playing field, and so they give these guns and these armor pieces that are honestly kind of cracked to players that may
Yeah.
not be as good as us to feel like they have a more competitive advantage. The problem is everyone that plays this game competitively at the beginning of every season, every expansion, the main thing they're looking for is what is the cheesiest thing I can use to win. And what happens is the people who were already better than the other 99% of the player base are
Hmm.
going to flock to these exotics and these guns that are overpowered so they can dick on everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they have these weapons and these exotics that are busted, and they also have this competitive aspect. They have the competitive playlist. They have trials because they want people to play competitively. When D2 first came out, you didn't have special weapons. You had two primaries. You had a heavy. You had to go
Yeah.
find ammo for that heavy.
Yeah.
And it to an extent, yeah, it was more competitive, but it wasn't fun. Because coming from D1, you had a more simple playing field. You didn't have abilities. You didn't
Yeah.
get special every time you died. It was, in my opinion, more balanced. And then they kind of swung to this other, more competitive kind of game. But then they say, well, this is boring. People are leaving. Let's add some crack shit in here to make people come back. And now
Yeah.
we're here where people are just using overpowered stuff to win, and it's not fun for anybody. It's not
Yeah.
fun for the people who are using it. It's
Yeah.
not fun to bring an air intel into every game, get 50 plus kills, and it's like, what's the point? I'm not getting any better. They're not getting any better. They're probably leaving the game because
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
fun. So
Yeah, yeah. That's another thing too. Like I can understand things being broke upon release, or maybe they didn't think the whole thought process was thought all the way out when they made some of these exotics or some of these guns. But do you think it's okay if something is broken that comes out and they fix it? One Eye Mask. Let's take that for an example. Like they had One Eye Mask when it first came out. It was broke as shit.
Mhm.
broke as shit, and it stayed broke as shit for like what 8 9 months before they touched it,
Yeah.
and then
Um,
they tweaked it, and it's still good. It's still hell of good. It's
right.
not as broke, but it's I think it's intended to what they wanted it to be from the jump. But like you said, I think they injected it with the crack first, and then like it just went rampant, you know. But when they fix something broke, do you think it's still okay to have in the game, or do you think that they should just like nerf it to the ground to where it's like unplayable?
Well, I think it depends on how whatever we're talking about is broken, and I think it depends on the length of time that it's broken. So, for example, the first year Destiny 2 was out, there's a trace rifle, a laser beam, Prometheus lens, right? And there
Yeah.
was a bug in it
Oh boy.
where
Oh
basically
boy.
you had a time to kill of what, like 0.4 seconds or some crazy
I think
shit.
it was
Um,
0.37.
Point 0.3. Okay, even worse. And so basically it turned PvP into a laser tag show, where you had everyone using lasers, shooting lasers at each other, and it was stupid as hell. It was
Yeah.
incredibly dumb, but it was fun. It didn't last too long, and I think that when something happens like that, where it's unintentionally overpowered and it's kind of a meme, fuck it. Who cares? It's a video game you play to have fun. Um, but like One Eyed, when something is busted for like a year and the community is very adamant about you fixing it and you still
Yeah,
don't,
very vocal. Yeah.
then it's a problem. Then you're not listening to the community. And you know, we're not developers. I don't know what they have to fuck up and fix to fix, you know, One-Eyed Mask or anything else. I've heard with this game particularly, if they fix something, they break 10 other things. So I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
when you have a problem going that long and not even addressing it, then you just seem tone deaf, and that's an issue. That's something Bungie's had to deal with in the past. That I think they still deal with is actually responding to stuff like this and not just ignoring it.
Yeah, facts. That's another thing too. Like I feel like um they it's like kind of like yin and yang. Like they put so much into like trying to converse with us, but like when it's actually time to put in action, it's like you're walking in quicksand. It's like we're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then like we put hope into like, oh, maybe next month or this week or next refresh or whatever the case may be, that they're gonna actually implement like times where they can actually make some changes. Not only just to like guns or exotics, but just like quality of life in general. And I think that's a big factor too when it comes to games, like people that like the developers and the creators and stuff like that, like they play their part, they do the swap, they do the videos, the insights and stuff like that, which is cool, which is dope. But I think like their biggest flaw is just like paying attention to what people want and what people say. Because there, how many times have we come into play where it's like they announce something and they're gonna do something, but then when it's time for them to do it, they do something totally different, or like they pull something else out of the bag, and it's like we didn't really ask for all of this. Like, what direction are you trying to go? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel that.
absolutely.
But I got a question for T. Um, how do you feel about the current season in PvP? Like, no pinnacles, nothing really to chase for. You're over here getting Gen, 2 season, 3 season go guns for free.
um, so PvP is like the main replayability for me. I could do a raid, 100 times and not feel, nothing's ever going to change. The encounter is still going to be the same.
Yeah,
This boss is still going to be the same. I'm still going to do this much damage if I do it optimally. All that's never going to change. But PvP is where everything changes constantly. I get new opponents that adapt to the way I'm playing, or
yeah,
maybe they switch weapons. Maybe they try something new, or they're using something that maybe I'm not so familiar with, and that's my favorite part of PvP. And this season, with not a lot of stuff to chase
hmm,
and not a lot of stuff to really go for, other than maybe like trials loot, which has its own problems in its own right. I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
yeah, yeah,
But uh, PvP, I mean, I actually took a break last season. I came in at like the very tail end. I think there was like 2 weeks left. and got back into it. Started playing PvP. I've mostly been on the competitive grinds because I like threes. Threes are fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it's a lot more fun than hectic sixes where you could run into anything and there's always someone behind you.
yeah. Tell me
But
about it.
I've I've been playing like I said, I've been playing in comp. Got back up to 5500. I'll need to do it one more time for my first first title. I've still haven't gotten one of those yet. And
No?
I'll
Well,
say yeah, yeah.
you only play Crucible, and that's like one of the
Yeah,
hardest ones. So I
right.
I forgot. Yeah,
Um but yeah, so to answer your question, it's it's kind of been a nothing season, honestly. I mean, I'm just doing the same old stuff that I normally do without any like additional rewards or anything like that. So, I mean, it's just the same old for me. I can't say it's bad because, you know, I'm getting to play Crucible and that's
yeah,
like my favorite part of the game. But at the same time, you know, if I'm not, if let's say I already had them broken, what am I going for? You know, other than trials loot.
yeah.
And at that point, once I have all that, who cares? It's done. It's over.
But is it fun?
Is it fun? It, it depends on the people I'm playing with and the people I'm playing against. Because sometimes I'll get into a trials game and I'll see the other team and we'll look them up and it's like, all right, these guys are gonna be good, and we have a good game and it's super fun. And you know, even if we lose, I'm like, dang, that was still fun because that was a really good game.
Yeah,
And I think it really goes a long way with the people you play with too. It's like, you know, if they're upset, if they're not having a good time, that negativity spreads immediately, and you can just feel the like,
don't,
you
you
can
don't
just
gotta tell
feel
me
the
about it.
atmosphere.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
could just feel the atmosphere just like drop, and
yeah,
that makes it a lot harder. It makes it not as enjoyable.
yeah.
But
Because
I would say,
I was gonna say, you know how
go
many
ahead.
times, how many times I ran trials with dad, and he gets so mad, and I feel so bad because I'm not the best. I'm not the best.
Right?
I'm not
Yeah.
the best PvP player at all, by far. I used to be pretty good in D1. I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but like I played a shitload of D1 just like Love, and there's times where we're in there and it's like me, him, and like I don't know somebody else from the clan or Jen or somebody, and it's just like there'll be silence. We'll have a couple call outs on your left, on your right, and then like out of nowhere just be holy fuck. And it's
Yeah, it
just
sounds
dad.
like
It's just
Destiny in a
dad.
nutshell.
Yeah, it's just dad being dad, and he be turning up and stuff like that. But I can
I'm
agree
sorry,
with
I'm
your
an
points.
abusive father. That's my
Nah,
bad.
it's good, man. It's good because it's just like T said. It's just like it's when you're in those settings, especially trials. It's just like it's competitive. It's gonna be sweaty. They're having all the best cracked out loadouts. It's then it's connection based and card based, and then you have to go up against all of that. It's like they're stacking the odds in your favor already before you even start the damn game. It's like you got to deal with all the other extra factors, and then on top of that, with people like you said that are in the game, and then your teammates and stuff like that, and that whole thing is another conversation too, because mentality wise you have to, and I learned that playing Gears, because I'm not, I wouldn't say to this day, but Gears 2, Gears 3, I was like super competitive. Like I have it tatted on my body. I was super competitive, like getting the highest rank, getting the gold, the platinum, the diamond, whatever the case may be for that game. Like I was super competitive, and like I can understand where T's going with it, because or you too, Love, like you go in and you could play like a quick match and it's like TDM and you're just shitting around and doing whatever with your homeboys and seeing how you can kill your opponents and stuff like that, the most like corniest, cheesiest ways. And then when you get into ranked, you're like in a totally different mindset, and it's kind of crazy to me how they differ. It's the same game, but they put you in two different fields. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much more emotion towards ranked than there is just like quick play, because it's like it's quick play. Nobody really gives two flying craps about it. But when you're in ranked, it's like you have something to prove. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to hold yourself
Absolutely.
highly. Like like because like I can say like 8 out of 10 times it's like we're not getting outplayed. And like I said, I'm not the best player, but I can hold my own. Obviously, it's not hard with the way Destiny is put out there with aim assist and the type of guns and how they operate and stuff like that. So it's like I know when I'm getting bullshitted, and that's what gets me mad. And then it's like I can sit back and say we played a whole trials card. We lost three to four or whatever, and I can sit here and say I probably got outplayed like twice. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a whole mentality thing. And then like once that snowball starts rolling, it's like hard to get back. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning how to deal with that because that's my biggest flaw. Because in all the games, I mean, you could tell with my previously healed broke hand, I don't take losing to the kindest heart. You know what I'm saying? I get pissed off like really quickly, and I'm still trying to learn that. Like, I picked up on meditating and stuff like that. Like I try to like breathing techniques, and I don't know if you know T a Street Fighter player called Tokido from Japan, play Street Fighter.
Yeah, I'm familiar. I'm familiar.
He just recently, like I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, he started implementing like meditation during like tournament sets. I'm talking like Capcom Cup, like this is balls to the wall, like $500,000 on the line, tournaments. And he started implementing meditation uh, during his sets. He did an interview and he was talking about how he breathes. He does like breathing exercises before and after and during the match, and like I try to implement that in my game now. Not to the T, no pun intended, but like something similar. And like I try to learn how to like deal with that anger because it sways your gameplay like tremendously. And like what I'm saying, like I have to try to learn to combat that because there's a slight line between getting bullshitted and there's a slight line getting outplayed. And it's like I can respect getting outplayed rather than getting bullshitted on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that. Something like you can definitely compare that to is I think everybody should have a ritual where they take a second to really like clear their head. Like every basketball
Recollect,
player,
yeah.
every basketball player, they have a ritual at the free throw line. Every
Hmm.
one of them. I had one when I was in high school and I was playing. I dribble twice, spin the ball, let it come back to me. I dribble once more, and then I'd shoot. And I'd do it every time. And that was my ritual to kind of collect my thoughts, line up my shot, take a second. And I think everybody should have that. I think that's a good thing to have just like in life in general. If you have something that you can just kind of take you away from the moment and bring you back in, it's a good thing to
Yeah,
have. I really
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I try to implement that because I'm angry. I get angry fast. I'm like dad number two. I'm angry. I get angry, like angry, like yelling and all that. I gotta try to like calm myself and collect myself sometimes. But it's definitely something that people should look into because it not only makes you a better player, it's better for you in the long run because like once you start being that person that's, I wouldn't say toxic, but you're like you know always angry and you're bringing your teammates down, then that affects everybody else's play too, especially in like high competition areas like trials and
Absolutely.
survival and stuff
Absolutely.
like that. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think it's just a game to go in there and play, have a good time. No, like we're out here trying to get dubbed, like for real, for real. You know, so I can definitely understand that. Love, I got a question for you now. What's the biggest difference between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2? Like by far, like what, like because me and you both know T not so much, but hopefully he'll sit one day and work for like a month and just play the entire game and see what he's missing out on. Like what is the defining factor of why D1's magic is not in D2, even though we like D2, but me and you both know it's not the same game.
Yeah. That's kind of a tough question, I won't lie, but here's my best attempt at it.
Yeah.
So if we take out the PvP stuff and all the balancing and stuff we've talked about, I think the core difference, the reason why I fell in love with Destiny and what I feel like isn't in Destiny 2 is the mystery surrounding the game. Let me explain. I think within like the first like 5 seconds of starting the game, it's obvious. In D2, when you start it up, what do you get? You get this white ass blinding screen and this fucking loud ass music, fucking Chris Nolan style, blaring in your ears. In D1, when you start it up, you get this dark kind of boot up screen, whatever, and then this music comes in, and it's subtle, and it's almost kind of ominous, and you don't
Very.
really know what it is, and you load it up, and it's just from playing both games so much. I went back to D1 a week or so ago for the first time in a while, and it just immediately hit me. Just the game was designed, in my opinion, different. The art style
Mhm.
was different. When you first played D1, you didn't really know much about the world in Destiny. You didn't really know anything about these bad guys you're shooting other than they're bad. You
Yeah.
don't know what half the shit in the game was what it actually meant, what it was designed to do. In Destiny 2, um obviously you have people who play D1 that know the lore in the universe already, so it makes sense. But I think even beyond
Yeah.
that, you had the storyline was watered down. It was more casual friendly, I guess. You clearly knew who the good guys were. It was
Mhm.
obvious who the bad guys were, and the story played itself out. And a lot of the pieces that built the foundation in D1 were just either neglected or they were also watered down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
when in Destiny 1, they talked about the war mines. I'm not going to go too big into the lore, but before we had, the collapse during the Golden Age, when we, found the Traveler and all that, we
Mhm.
had these war mines. Um, we had, I believe, 3 or 4 of them, and they went into detail on each of them and how they worked, and they were just these, crazy powerful AI with world-ending weapons, and
Yeah.
they went on and on about how cool they were. Well, anyway, in D2, we meet one. We meet Rasputin. Rasputin turns out is just an angry Russian robot. Um, we have we have more lore about Rasputin than we did in D1, but it's not as interesting.
Yeah.
We have more context, but the context sucks. Um, and that's just one example of the awesome world building that Destiny does. That's the reason why I fell in love with it. Like I said, it wasn't just the gunplay, it wasn't just the PvP, it was just the power fantasy of being in that world surrounded with that lore was awesome. And then when we go to
Yeah.
D2, it's got this kind of corporate feel where it's just kind of just glossy. It's not as real and in your face and mysterious as D1 was. Um, you can load up really any area that is in D1 that kind of is like the same in D2, and you can tell just from the art style, it's darker, it's more detailed.
Yeah.
In D2, yeah, we've got 4K and HDR, and it looks great, but it just looks manufactured. It doesn't look authentic. And I guess that's the main point: is the authenticity in
Yeah.
D1 was so much better than in D2.
Yeah. Because I could tell you, I remember, because I was never into Halo, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, Gears Head all the way. Call of Duty, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2, I was in there. And I don't know where I found the article or the video I seen for Destiny. I was like, this looks kind of different, kind of cool. I was going in there blind. Didn't know who
Hmm.
Bungie was, didn't know what the game was about. I seen like maybe 2 videos and an article. I was like, you know what, F it. I bought it. And this was when me and Jen first got together. She was living at my house. We weren't married yet. And she saw me playing it. And then, that was when Xbox was, game sharing on the new console. So because I had got an Xbox One around that time, so I wasn't on Xbox 360 Destiny 1. I was on Xbox One Destiny 1. So she ended up getting an Xbox One, and we started playing together. And she saw me playing before she got hers, and she was like all into it, like all into it. She was like, the game looks cool, the characters, the guns, everything that's going on, the music. Because for me, just like how you started out the conversation, the music, bro, I literally bought the album
Yeah, I
I
did too.
bought the I bought the OST, bro. Like that's how much I loved it. Like, and long story short, she started playing it with me and everything like that, and like we grew a bond through Destiny, and I think that's why I love Destiny so much now, and I still put up with it, and I still play with it, and I let T whoop my ass from time to time in Crucible and everything, and I'm okay with that. But I think the thing that you said that hit me the most was like the mystery, the Aurora. It feels like to me in Destiny 2, like everything is just handed to us. Like when we get the zero mission hour once out of the 3 years lifespan that Destiny 2 has already been out. It's like holy shit, they can make some like raw ass content, and I think that that's something that they need to wake up and realize, because it's like how much stuff in the game that we just get on and we just do and it's just there, and it's just like okay, what
Right.
what do we really do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like and
And
and I just feel
yeah.
like in Destiny 1, like the narrative and everything
Mhm.
was just like, from the ghost voice to when you first wake up to just evolving into like, the power fantasy character that you are. It's just hits so different. You know what I'm
It
saying?
does. It does. And I think that was the biggest draw for Destiny back when it first came out was nobody knew what the hell was going on. Nobody knew. I mean, when
Yeah.
when I heard about Destiny, the only thing that I knew was it's open world Halo. Like, okay, well that could mean a shit ton of different things, and I didn't really know what it was until I played it.
Yeah.
And like you said, with Zero Hour in Destiny 2, that feeling, that adrenaline rush of you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, there's a timer that's counting down, and you got to figure shit out. That feeling was the feeling that I had doing playing Destiny 1. Not all the time, but a lot of times. Like, when we had Vault of Glass, when people first figured out Vault of Glass, the internet exploded. That was the first time we had a first person shooter that had a raid in it. And some people
Yeah.
that played Destiny, they didn't play WoW, they didn't play games that had raids, they didn't know what it was. It was 6 people loaded into this weird new mission thing, and they had to explore it. They had to figure out how to
Figure it out.
navigate the
Mm-hmm.
vault, how to kill these bosses. It was crazy. And that was the main draw for Destiny, was what is going on, and what is there to explore in this game. And like I said earlier, I feel like that's what D2 is missing. It's turned into a checklist. It's a to-do
Facts.
list of I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, so I can get an item that is +1 to what I currently have, and that's not fun. That's grinding. And sure, some grinding is okay, but when grinding is the whole game, I mean, it's
No
it's a
bueno.
chore. It's a
No
chore.
bueno. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then back to D1 real quick, and then I got a question for T. And I think as much as the factors that we played, it's the thing that gets me is, like I said, when me and Jen played it, it brought us together. And as corny as that sounds, like the game as a whole, it has a special place for me. Because it brought my wife closer to me, not just because she plays video games, because she never played competitively anything. She was Black Ops, Zombies queen. That's all she did. She never played Black Ops. I mean, never played Black Ops multiplayer. Started playing Black Ops 3 competitively from my angle, because she wanted to join me. Got into Destiny, and then played Destiny, with us, at the time back then, doing trials and all that stuff that was available to us then. And that's what got me liking the game even more, is because like I mean, you also probably were in a clan and had friends that played it nonstop. You were up all night raiding. I can remember the times where when Crota first came out, bro, and we finally beat Crota, there was nights where knowingly and willingly I had to get up at 6 in the morning, and I didn't go to sleep till like 4, because we're up trying to beat Crota. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted the armor, I wanted the shaders. It's like everything that we said, and then just for me to add it to where I can share that with somebody. Like, even though me and Jen played Destiny 2 and we bought Destiny 2, we played Destiny 2, I think when it came out, I think we played it only for like up until like season 2 or 3, and then we left and then come back to Drifter. Like, we took a mean break, like a mean break, you know what I'm saying? Like, And that's the thing. It's like when you get so used to something and it has something special, and you want it to be good, and like it, and the little shard of hope was still like in me, like, you know what I'm saying, like they'll always make it better. They've always pulled something out of their ass, and they always make it better. I believe, and I believe in it, I believe in it. And then we took that long ass break, came back, season of Drifter, and real short and sweet. I fell in love with the Drifter character. I think he's really cool. He needs his own like real DLC expansion, because I think out of all the new NPCs, he's like my favorite. And and then it slowly evolved, and then us meeting you guys, and then making the clan and all this extra stuff. And that's what I think it's about more. I think it's the game itself as a core. It can be shared with people, and there's not
Yeah.
many of those games that have that in it. And especially in D1 era, it was, dude, I went to Destiny Con twice. I met King Italian, I met Crafty, I met Triple Rec. I had them sign my phones, I took pictures with them, bro. And it's like the community as a whole, if you're not on the forums, because forums is like a whole different topic, if the whole community as itself is a great community, the game just brings people together. And that's very hard to do with a game, especially how games are set up and how long they last, or if they even get that far. And Destiny's been around going on 7 years, which is a long time, and it's kind of crazy to me, because Halo's been out for what, 10, 15 damn years, and it still has a community, and it always got better, even though it hit some bumps in the roads and stuff like that. So I have this tiny little flame that's still there, that's like, okay, next time you'll get them, next time, Tiger. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm waiting for it. I just know you're gonna pull a goddamn, you know, Taken King or Forsaken again out of your ass, and it's just gonna be, just like back to square one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To put a nice little corny little bow on this part of it, and I think maybe Luke Smith said this. I don't know, maybe he did with his crazy ass, but the real loot are the friends you make along the way.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I worked real hard on that.
That was cute. That was cute.
It's true. It's a social shooter, and a lot of the times the reason I come back to this game, I've got all the shit that I want. I come back to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
And like you said, apart from T, every other person I've met in our clan has been through this game. And I've met people that I talk to every day, that I hang out with through a fucking video game. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's great. And there aren't a whole lot of other games, I don't think really any other game, where I've done that, where I've met other people and connected with at that level through, a video game by chance. We met Jen by chance. I think T kicked y'all's asses one day, and you invited him, and that was it. That was how it started, and it's crazy.
I can't stand T, man. I can't.
Yeah.
That's how every one of his relationships starts out, bro. On that damn game, it's just like you get mollywopped, and you get a friend request, and it's like, hey, buddy, you want to play with me? Like, yeah, sure. You didn't just fucking pop off, and now you want to be my friend. Goddamn T, man. But yeah, I can definitely agree on that level. Like, it's crazy how something like that can, pull so many people together. And then it's crazy because like a lot of these people that you meet, like, you like actually form like real life friendships and stuff. Like, I have a friend, his gamer tag was Daybach, but his real name is Kyle. And I met him through Destiny, and we used to do the whole trials and everything like that. And there was times where, we got together. He lived in Orlando. Him and his girlfriend at the time were the ones that we went to both Destiny cons that we went to back to back, 2 years in a row with. And like, we got invited to their house, and like their baby shower, and like, they keep us updated on their kids and like their life and stuff like that. And it became like a real life friendship. Like, that's my friend. And it all started from just finding somebody to raid on LFG, or Crota or Vault, or King's Fall or something like that back in the day. And it's crazy how something like that can pull people together. And I think that's like, for me, that's like the main core of this game. Like, it still has it. It may not be the best, but I just feel like every time it's like, the game is down in the dirt, like they do something drastic, and it's like, okay, now they really mean business, and like, if they bring everybody back together. I mean, look at Trials. I was in drought with crafty content because all he plays was like Apex and all this other shit. And then like boom, Trials came out and it's like it's old school crafty. And like I love crafty as a player and like as a person in stream, everything is like A1 to me. And it's just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like look what the game can really do. Like 3 years later, pull somebody out and be like, hey, look, we're bringing Trials back, and then they hop on the game with like so much excitement, even though Trials is ass, right, T?
It's all right. It's all
Trials,
right.
Yeah.
Trials is trash, dog. Come
Yeah.
on, it is trash. It is
Yeah.
trash. See, you didn't play D1, so you don't know. But I mean,
Destiny is the only game I've seen die, come back to life, die again, and come back to life again, at least 4 or
Yep.
5 times. This game is like the Doctor Who of video games.
This
It
game is
dies
actually a
and comes
guardian.
back
they
over
they
and
do it. I don't know how they do it. That's why I'm saying, like
Yeah.
with the fall expansion, I'm like, bro, like there could be just that hope where we get this Forsaken-ish, Taken King-ish like expansion, and it just like hits you in the face hard and just brings back all the nostalgia, all the right reasons, all the right factors, and everybody's just having the time of their life and everything, because I just miss decrypting shit. Remember when you got an exotic and you didn't know what it was, and you went to the postmaster. I mean, you went to Rahul, and it ended up being like something that you wanted, or it was something that you didn't, because you don't know. What did you main in Destiny 1, Love? Like, who was your first character?
My first was a warlock. I played them all, but my first was a warlock.
Yeah, see, mine was the Titan. Like for the longest, before I made like a second and third character. When I really started getting investing in it is when obviously you make the second and third character, and find out you can get more loot and et cetera, like to like quote unquote complete the game. So I remember you remember the BB chest, Twilight Garrison. Oh my
Yeah.
god, bro! When I tell you, I was on a manhunt, 3 of coins, farming, doing the stupid loot cave glitch for well, that was before, but the 3 of coins glitch where you can go to the one mission. I believe it was on the moon. I think it was with like one of the fallen captains at the end, and you would kill him, and then rocket shoot yourself and die, and then just repeat.
Yep.
Oh man, I couldn't wait for Zur. I'd stock up on 3 of coins, and I was going ham for the Twilight Garrison. And Twilight Garrison is a chest for the hunter. I mean, for the Titan, that basically gives you a top tree down blade.
It's Icarus Dash for a Titan.
Oh, dude, let me tell you, like the supers you would dodge, the snipers you would dodge, the outplays, and you didn't have to jump all the way in the air. Like how how back in Destiny 1, Titan skating was OP as shit. Like OP. Like, I mean, you think it's fast now. Like in D1, it was like OP as shit. So like you can just get your feet off the ground just a couple of inches, and you can do that dodge, and then hit the floor and reset it, and just you were just out there moving, bro. But like to me, I miss the mystery of getting exotics and like opening up new shit and like just finding new stuff and getting stuff for the first time. It's like you get an exotic now, it's just like, yo, you gave it to us, season pass, or it's on the floor, you pick it up, it's already decrypted. It's like, bro, like I already know what I'm getting. It's like, I think that small sliver is like something that I hold highly and dearly, because it just meant so much to me. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you remember back in year 1 of Destiny 1 where you'd go to decrypt an exotic, and it would decrypt into a blue?
Yeah,
That was tight as shit.
That was
Yeah,
tight as shit. And funny
those were good
story is,
times.
like, I think when I got the Gallahorn, I'm gonna add this and then I got something for you, T. Um, I had the Gallahorn for a long time. Jen didn't have it. Like at least like 3, I think maybe like 3 or 4 months. I was rubbing in her face every day, and then vice versa with her with the Vex. 6 years later, I still never had gotten a Vex meth class. So they bring it back to D2, I'll be hype as shit. To where they can give it to me, not like I'm gonna earn it. And I had it for like 3-4 months, rub it in her face, best rocket launcher in the game, kiss my ass, yada yada yada. She went to the postmaster at like 4 a.m. when she was playing. I was getting ready to go to bed, and she was playing. She went to the postmaster. I keep saying postmaster. She went to Rahul, and she decrypted I think it was a blue or a legendary, and she got the damn Gallahorn. Not even from an exotic Engram. When I tell you that girl lost her mind, like jumping on the bed 4 a.m. at my mom's house, probably woke everybody up for the Gallahorn. And like, I don't see that now. Like when we get exotics in the game, it's like, okay, Tommy's matchbook, we out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But T, I got a question for you. Even though you didn't have enough time, it's actually for both. But I want to hear T because he's a hunter. Um, you didn't have much time to like get attached. But how do you feel about them killing off Cade?
So I like Cade because he's the comedic relief of the game.
Yeah.
When everybody else is so like serious, like you take out Korra, Zavala, then you have Shaq screaming in your ear. The newest comedic relief we have is the Drifter, and he's just a bunch of one-liners, and he's a funny dude, but even then, it's like, you know, he's not the most like he's not the best person out here. All he ever does is call me a snitch anyway, so I'm not a big fan of him. But
should have sided with him. That's all. He's just calling his shots.
I think my favorite thing about Cade is he's in this world that there's just terror and nightmares like all around us, and he's just making Back to the Future references and stuff like that. Like he don't care. Like he don't care about nothing. He's just out here chilling. And to me, I feel like sometimes I can find myself in that. When I get into a pretty uncomfortable situation, sometimes I'll try to make a joke out of it. Yeah. And I really like that about that character. I'm talking about him like he's dead, like an actual human being died. I mean, he did die, but like, damn, you got me all emotional now.
It's okay, Dad.
He was always upbeat, and even in his dying like moments, your character walks up to him, and the first thing this fucker says is, "Hey, how's my hair?" Like this motherfucker
got
like,
no damn hair.
So yeah, I never played D1, but I watched this clip of a D1 thing. I played it for a very small amount of time. Like I played D1 long enough to get Tether. I did it with Love one day.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to get me into it, and there's this cutscene that played, and I'll go back and watch this cutscene just because it's such a cool cutscene. And Cade starts off. Cade's talking throughout the whole thing, and he goes, "What does it mean to be a hunter?" And I love that cutscene because that's when that goofy like clown like persona that Cade has, it comes off, and you can see he's serious, and he's like, "Hey, this is serious time. Go get him." And that's something I love that. And I'll still go back and watch that cutscene. Just go find it on YouTube. I damn near have it memorized just because I meme on people. Like
you're such a
fanboy,
dog.
I am.
It's the biggest Cade stan you'll ever meet, dude.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here giving him the benefit of the doubt, like he just started in Destiny 2. He don't really know too much about Cade, and then like like us, we from day one. I'm like, yeah, he hasn't been attached, and he's like, oh, Dad, I remember him. I remember.
Yeah, I like Cade.
Yeah, Cade was a very cool character. He has a very tragic story. It's really sad, and it's cool the way they wrote him. And obviously being voiced by Nathan Fillion. When I first started, I didn't know shit about Cade. I just knew, it's Nathan Fillion, and I love Nathan Fillion, so I kind of attached to that character, and I really liked it. And I learned more about his past and his son and all that. Really sad, but it's cool the way they wrote him. And I also miss him. I don't miss him to the extent that T does, obviously. I don't think it's possible for any other human to do that, but I do miss him. He was tight as shit. I hope they somehow bring him back. I don't care if it's cheesy or if it makes no sense. If Nathan Fillion gets bored and wants to make some extra dough, he'll walk up into Bungie and be like, "Hey, I want to come back." Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah, I'm down for a Cade return. See, who's your T, is that your favorite Vanguard of like all of them? Like if you had to choose.
I mean it's as far as like all the characters in Destiny, it's up there between like him and Shaxx. Like Shaxx screaming in your ear after you get a Weeran or something is one of the funniest damn things. Or when you shut down a super, but Cade from like a sentimental value, I would definitely say is like He's probably my favorite character by far.
What about you, Love?
Zavala, for sure.
For real, for real? Don't lie to me.
No, fucking no, dude.
Wait, before you laugh and joke,
I was
before you
like-
laugh and before you laugh and joke, that's my favorite Vanguard.
Wait, no.
I
Wait.
was like, no,
Stop
he's
the
lying.
podcast.
There's no
Wait,
way.
what?
That's well up until Drifter, because I like Drifter as like just him being just dark and mysterious with everything that he does. But like up until that, Zavala was my favorite Vanguard. I don't know if that's because I was a Titan main and I'm still a Titan main, or like I always wanted his armor because he still has some of the dopest armor next to
Yeah.
Shaq's, obviously. But like the
Yeah.
whole look of him, and like I guess like just him, like how he represents himself, like his down to the voice actor and everything like that. I don't know. I think it was more of like I'm a Titan main, and it's just like that's like the main Titan. That's like the dad right there, bro. Like I just liked him as who he was. You don't have to like shit on my dog, bro. Like he's pretty dope.
They
bro.
turned him into a little bitch, dude. I'm
He's
sorry.
pretty.
but
It's
they did.
okay. It's okay. He's pretty dope though. I mean, he's pretty dope
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. The honest answer, if we're talking about just the Vanguard, it's tough because all three characters, they have really interesting backstories that you probably wouldn't know much about if you didn't actually read the lore cards and shit. You
Yeah.
know, like I said, I play all three evenly. I identify as a warlock, and the story behind Ikora is really cool. She's actually the best player in the history of the Crucible, by the way. But she in the game is about as interesting as like wet toast. She doesn't say anything that's like meaningful or interesting, other than that one cutscene in Forsaken where she called out Zavala for being a little bitch. That was cool. But other than that, she just
I was
doesn't do
so
much.
hyped.
So I guess I really gotta pick Cade too. He was just there for the memes and the guns. He didn't give a shit.
He was.
And I
he was.
respect that.
Since you know a little bit about the lore, where the hell did the Colonel come from? Did he rescue him from the farm? Is my memory that bad that I don't remember?
That's a good question. I'm trying to remember the current. I want to say he did rescue him from the farm. I'm not 100% though. T, I think, might know more about Cade's lore than me.
Do you remember where he
might
got
be a
the
question
damn
for
damn
him.
chicken from?
So that is my weakest part of Cade's background, knowledge and
Well,
historia.
we'll
is
figure
the Colonel.
we'll figure it out later. We'll figure it out. I always wanted to know because the Colonel had couple cameos in the cutscenes, and I'm like, where the hell did this chicken come from? Like I knew we had the farm, but like I was like, where the hell did this chicken come from? And like I was like, where, like I was like, who is this damn chicken? And like he would carry it, and he'd have cutscenes, and he would like tell him good job and shit. I was like, what the the fuck?
Speaking of that chicken, I did the saddest thing the other day, and I'll end up doing this from time to time when I'm just bored and just like exploring Destiny. It's like 4 a.m. and I'm just kind of walking around. I went to the hangar, and that damn chicken is still there, just waiting on
he's
Cade.
chilling. He's chilling.
He's
still.
still there, and I just sat there for a bit. I just gave him some company, and I was like, "Man, this sucks.
It sucks,
Like,
man. Yeah.
I
Or if
can't
you go-
adopt you, man."
Or if you go to the ramen shop, they still have the picture of Cade in there and shit.
Yeah.
God
The
damn,
ace
bro.
is right
But
below.
that's the beauty of this game, though. It makes you care about the NPCs that just don't really do anything that much, and they
Yeah.
give you quests and shit. Like, what other FPS does that? Like, how attached are you to Captain Price? Like, really? It's like these characters.
Who's Captain Price?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare. They make
just
these
kidding.
characters likable and interesting, and you want to learn more about them, and it's so fucking cool. And I know I'm kind of cheesing now about the game as a whole, but it's just so cool that you have an emotional connection to a fictional character like that in a shooter. It's just wild.
Yeah, I can agree. And like I said, I got stories for days, especially since we're vets. Like it just goes on and on and on and on and on about like all the things that you can share with like different people and like how it brings everybody together. But I don't know. I don't know. I hope we get better. But how do you guys both feel about sunsetting armor and guns?
I think it's a great idea.
Why?
I like
Go
it.
ahead, T. Go ahead, T. You like it?
Yeah, I'm about it. I see the pros and cons, but I'm about it.
What's the pros?
So
To get
I used to
everybody to use
play
different guns, or
kinda, yeah. So I used to play this is where I'm gonna get into like the super nerd history of me.
here we
I
go.
used to play the Pokemon trading card game competitively. Like I went to like tournaments. Like I'd go out to Houston every year and go to the big
I did too.
tournaments.
I did too.
Um, yeah, and it was super fun. And I've been comparing sunsetting to the Pokemon trading card game because what the trading card game will do every year is they have a rotation of what cards are available. And I think things like Magic and stuff like this do it as well. I know Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't, but what they would do basically is they would take all the sets from last year and they would cut out like 4 sets, and they'd be like, all right, this is the new limited format, this is what you can use in tournaments this year.
Yeah.
For one, it promotes all the new content that they have. um, Obviously it's going to help with sales because people are going to want to buy those things,
Yep.
and it just keeps everything kind of fresh and relevant and keeps it going. So I really like that in the form of sunsetting on Destiny because just like the best one of the best loadouts in the game right now, Not Forgotten and pick your shotgun, Chaperone, Dustrock, Astral, it doesn't matter. Not Forgotten is like the best hand cannon in the game. It probably would have been until Destiny 2 died. But
Mm.
now that that's getting sunset,
Yeah.
it gives the opportunity for a lot of other archetypes and a lot of different weapons to start really making a breakout. So like something I've been using recently in preparation for this has been Thorne. I've been using so much Thorne because I was like, all right, I need another 150. So that way I have that good time to kill when I'm not feeling ace, or ace
Mhm.
just isn't doing it for me. I need another good 150 to try to really get that good time to kill while still having a hand cannon so I can peek shoot and beat these autos that are dominant right now. And then of course I just pair it with the shotgun. It's the same thing, but it's in the form of an exotic that's not going to be sunset. But let's say I have like a weapon like Dire Promise or Old Fashioned or something like that. Those are the legendary versions of Thorn. Dire Promise being a 150, Old Fashioned being a 140, that have like different perks on them that could be useful for different things. Like Old Fashioned can run with Demolitionist, so you could maybe get like a grenade build with like Shinobu's Vow in there, and now you have grenades constantly.
Yeah.
And you have that option instead of running something like just plain old Thorn with a shotgun. You have an option there, so I really like that. Going to like the bad side
Mhm.
of it, there's people out there that have spent a god awful amount of hours
Their
grinding
whole
for
life.
a gun.
Their whole
Yeah,
life.
their whole life grinding for a gun.
Yeah.
I watched the a Candy Cakes video, him talking about sunsetting, and he's completely against it, understandably, because he's got like 10 Tatara gazes in his vault, and each one does something different for him, but he still hasn't gotten the role that he's looking for, and he gave up on it because even if he did find it, it doesn't matter now. So he doesn't even care. So you got people that just really want these guns that they've been working for so long, and
Yeah.
that they have worked for, and they have the role. And now with sunsetting, that weapon is going to be gone to them, and they're going to either have to re-earn a different version, or find something else. So I
don't know,
definitely
man.
understand that.
I'm kind of torn between both. It's like I kind of want to break up the monotony and have everybody like dig into new content, new guns, and new perks or whatever. They're buffing a lot of perks and stuff that seem like not usable or nobody really sought after, and it kind of changes the game, the gunplay. Obviously, like I believe off the top of my mind, I think like pulse monitors getting a buff. I think, and it's like you can I think to me it's like I would rather them not so much sunset the weapons, like maybe change how the weapons are represented, Like it say like this gun that's rolled with postmodern kill clip, and like shitty barrels may not be the best, but like after the update, and the buffs to certain perks that can drop on certain guns, it might make it variable option to be a second to go weapon. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think there's different ways that you can implement to make the gunplay change, the scene change, rather than just be like, okay, this is season 10, we're only gonna mess with auto rifles, and then you see auto rifles until season 11, or this is season 8, and hard impact pulse rifles are the shit, and then like because everybody will eventually just go to that archetype rather than
Right.
dig into a different archetype. But if you can do the same thing to where you can make one archetype better than the other, or make one level with another archetype, you can also implement different buffs that don't necessarily have to change the field drastically, but to where like it puts each of the gun types in its own category, but they're always in competition with one another instead of always being the
Right.
same 6 damn guns. Is what I'm
Right.
trying to
And I
get at.
feel that. So you're feeling for more like instead of an upgrade to a weapon, like like let's say spare rations or something, like upgrading to a dire promise, you're looking for a side grade, something
Yeah,
that can fulfill a different role.
yeah,
Something like I'll go back to the demolitionist example. Let's say they were to bring back like a 140 hand cannon, judgment, that's an old Trials of the Nine weapon. Let's say they got it with like random rolls,
hmm,
and all the perks that it have is based on consistency. It's got rangefinder, opening shot, moving target, stuff like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and it doesn't really have any damage buffs. But then the old fashioned, that's where your lethality comes from. That's got like kill clip, rampage, swashbuckler, stuff like that on it. So that would be a side grade, instead of having to, you have two different guns that do two different things. You have your bread and butter judgment over here that does pretty much everything you want from a 140 at all times. And then you have your old fashioned over here that when you get that kill, you're gonna slap with it. And
yeah,
I see that argument a lot. And that that is probably the biggest argument for me, as well as opposed like as being against sunsetting, because I agree with that. And so it's really hard to like not sympathize with those people that do feel that way, because I get it. I would love to have side grades instead of upgrades all the time, because then I have a complete arsenal at my disposal where I'm like, all right, you know, I I need to make some impact plays here. So instead of using this like just this basic, judgment I have that's based on consistency, I
mm,
need to put in some damage after I get that kill, because we know that this guy's going to start pushing. I got to have that lethality. I'm going to switch to this old fashioned.
mm. Makes sense. Makes sense. What about you, Love? How do you feel about sunsetting? I know you wanted to drop an input on that.
Yeah, for sure. As far as the pros go, I pretty much have the exact same feeling as T. The only difference is I played Magic instead of Pokemon, um, but pretty much the same thing. I agree with not invalidating, but just retiring the older gear and
Mm,
ushering in some new stuff to use it. It spices up the gameplay and makes it more interesting. With the cons though, I agree, and I feel like the problem with the game right now, as far as perks go,
yeah.
um, 99% of them suck. They're boring or they're bad, and so it has
Shout
you
out, shout
chasing
out to
the
Firefly.
same. It had yeah, exactly. It has you chasing the same like 3 or 4 perks on every gun.
Yeah,
And if you don't get those perks, your gun isn't as good as the person who has those perks, and that sucks. As someone who has terrible RNG in this game, um,
me too.
I feel it. There have been there's several guns that I have spent countless hours of my life trying to get that I haven't got, and at this point will probably never get, and that's I guess fine. Whatever. But the perks, and I know I'm harping on D1 a lot, but going back to D1, you had a lot of perks that you didn't necessarily have to get, the same 3 perks in every gun for it to be good. You had
Yeah.
stuff like, Army of One, Counterbalance, Perfect Balance, perks that you don't see in D2 on
Mm-hmm.
anything for some reason, where, I could get a sniper rifle with a set of perks, and I could get another one with a completely different set of perks, and they're both good. One isn't necessarily better than the other just because it has opening shot on it. Again, it felt more balanced. And that's what I feel like they're missing from this sandbox is the perk balancing. Something like Kill Clip is obviously going to be better than Field Prep 100% of the time.
Shout out to
100% of the yeah. Shout out to Field Prep. All my crouching dudes out there. I know that shit's amazing. Whatever. But
Crouching
yeah,
mind benders. We out here. We out here. That's T right there, bro. T.
yeah.
You know I ain't sitting nowhere crouching with my man.
Come
I'm moving
on,
around the
bruh.
map constantly.
Come on, man. 2-tap crouch. I'm over here. You can't see me. Wow, mind benders. Kiss my ass. But yeah, I can agree. I'm pulling both sides. Like I like it and I don't because it's like you're like me. My RNG is terrible in this damn game. I still have yet to reach out to Luke Smith. I had a God roll mind benders, and it disappeared one day. I honestly think Jen deleted it, but I'm not gonna go that far and accuse my wife of that. But one day it was there, and the next day it was gone, and that was 3 months ago. I've been grinding every time that is in the legacy, and I have yet to get it to drop. And then I think Jen's got maybe like 3 or 4 since then. And I'm just sitting here like, with the dumbest look on my face, like, what else do I have to do? Because it's not only they're putting the RNG on you, it's like now I can't get the gun that I want, and then now we're so deep into the season, going to season 11, it's like it won't even matter anymore. You know what I'm saying? Well, certain guns, I don't think mind benders is in that pool, obviously. I don't remember.
Well, if the gun actually did get deleted from your inventory, I can tell you, it's better to have loved and lost than to get a shit ton of mind benders with threat detector on them. I haven't even gotten a good roll yet, dude. So,
shout out to threat detector. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not shit. It's not total shit.
Is it
If
that
you got
good?
like,
it's
if you
not
got
total
like 5
shit.
people, you got like 5 people around you, it's broken.
But it's not shit though. T, am I
Let
right?
me run
Tell
up
me.
into the whole ass team with a shotgun and see how that goes, bud.
T, it's not T. Is it on a scale of 1 to 10? Threat detector. Like, come on. It's not total shit.
It's pretty bad, dog.
It's not that
It's
bad.
pretty
Okay,
bad.
okay. Threat detector or Firefly?
Well, you can't even get Firefly on the mind benders. What are you talking about?
I'm not saying mind benders totally. I'm just saying perk wise. Because I should have wrote that question down, like the best perks. What is the god?
Man?
What is the god roll on the mind benders anyway?
You're looking for rifle to full choke, accurized rounds, quick draw, and then I don't know,
Opening
snapshot, range masterwork. Well,
Looking
you
for
can't get
opening
opening shot. You can't get opening shot and quick draw on the same gun, or
Why
on the
not?
same mind bender. So it's only the curated roll has opening shot on it, but it also has steady rounds to compensate for that. So I would say you probably want rifled or full choke, accurized, quick draw, and then I guess snapshot. I don't really know, but then range masterwork. That's a good shotgun.
Yeah, fuck all that noise. It's okay. I don't need a mind bender.
Exactly.
We're too good for that, okay? Dad, number one, we're too good for that. We don't need that shit.
We got Fell Winners. It's a better shotgun, and it's got the
Obviously.
same rolls, so I literally cannot get a bad one. Thank you, Bungus.
And
Thank
they
you,
gave
Luke
it to
Smith,
us. They
for
gave
blessing
it
with
to
a
me.
Good shotgun. Yeah, they sure
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, kiss my ass, T. How about that? T, what's your top 3 favorite exotic guns?
Top 3 favorite exotics.
If you say ace 3
Well, if
times,
you-
I'm shutting this shit down.
I was about to, but then you beat me to it. I was actually just gonna say ace of spades. I'm out, but
Wow.
definitely ace for my number 1. That gun has way too much going for it. I'm surprised it hasn't been nerfed more.
Yeah.
But it is a 140, so it does have the slower time to kill compared to 150s. If 140s get a buff, I expect that gun to get nerfed in some way because it's a little too good as is right now. After that, man, I really love this gun,
Mm.
and I'm from Texas, so I really like the Tex Mechanica guns. Huckleberry, that little gun is so fun to use in like everything in the game. Like I'll just put on a sniper with it and just go ham with it in the Crucible, or I'll just take it to PvE, or when I have to play Gambit, I'll use it. I love that little gun. It's so fun.
You got the catalyst?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love that gun. And if I had to say like, man, third favorite gun. Third favorite. It used to be Worldline because I could do some crazy stuff. Like ever since they nerfed like Worldline skating
Yeah.
and like warping, it's definitely not it anymore. But if I had to pick a third gun, only because it was my first exotic in the game and I used it for a very long time, Graviton Lance. Just because shooting black holes, like that's I love that gun. I hate pulse rifles, but I love that gun. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool gun. I think I have all the ornaments for it too. But the whole black hole thing kind of reminds me of like a void version of the sunshot. You know, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What about
it's
what
just,
about you, Love?
You just
Didn't mean to cut you off there.
Bastion, Suros for
Stop!
sure. No, I'm just
Stop!
kidding.
Stop the shit! Stop the
Fucking
shit,
Meta
dog!
War.
Stop the shit! Stop!
This guy's
the
like, what's
shit.
the most meta thing right
Yeah.
now? Okay, these three.
Yeah. No.
Stop the shit. That boy
Okay.
said
All right.
Bastion
All right.
with
Real
his
talk.
whole
Real
with
talk.
his whole chest. He said Bastion.
Hang
T.
on.
That's
hang on.
crazy.
I'm
That's
gonna real
crazy.
talk with you.
Real
Okay.
talk.
Number
Alright.
one, without a doubt, is Thorne. For sure, Thorne. Second place is the last word. Just the whole like good man gun and bad man gun thing is just really interesting to me. The whole lore behind those guns, how they came to be, the way they look, the way they feel when they shoot. It's fucking awesome. Thorne was like one of the first exotics I remember actually having to earn, getting this random bounty and spending like hours in the Crucible doing all kinds of weird shit to get it, and
Facts.
then playing my first, like flawless ticket in trials. I had Thorne. I loved that gun since the moment I had it, and when it first came out, it was pretty shitty. They buffed it to hell later, but like that whole time, I just loved Thorne. And then the last word again. Just everything about it was just interesting to me, and the way that it shot. We didn't really have a lot of fast shooting hand cannons in D1, and then this busted ass hand cannon came out that was a fucking auto shotgun. Was
Busted.
amazing.
Busted.
It tore ass. It tore whole ass. It was great. So those two guns are definitely in my top two. The third's kind of hard because I'm kind of torn. I'm also a big Tex Mechanica boy, obviously. You got Last Word, and then also Chaperone. I love Chaperone. I feel
gun.
like it's like one of the only like shotguns for like a gentleman, because you have to actually aim with it. You can't just mindlessly ape.
Wait.
Person.
For a gentleman, what does that mean?
Yeah,
Pacify
dude.
that
Yeah,
for me.
it's okay.
No, I feel it.
Have
I
you,
feel
okay,
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Star Wars, Anthony? You remember
Yeah.
when Ben Kenobi, like when Luke first gets the lightsaber, and he's like, "It's an elegant weapon from a more civilized age." That's basically what Chaperone is. It is
Holy
a
shit.
Sirs
I
shotgun.
like that.
It's classy
like
as
that.
shit. It is classy.
Okay.
I love that gun.
Okay.
The other one that I'm kind of debating on is Izanagi's, just because the PvE potential, like that gun's always been really good at PvE.
Fuck that crutch.
It's been kind of good
And
in
the
PvP.
sounds.
Yeah,
when
it
you
sounds
reload.
very cool when you
Oh my
smack
God.
4 rounds into one big ass bullet and makes that ka-chink noise. It's fucking good. I don't know what noise. I don't know how they made that
It's
noise. I
good.
wish they would tell me, because I want to know what they did to make that noise, because it sounds
That
amazing.
is
Like for
that
sure.
sound is like crack. I love
Yeah,
that
it's
sound.
so
dude.
good. Like I'll just be reloading for no fucking reason. Like I won't even be anywhere near a DPS phase. I just want to hear it.
I feel that.
But if I had to pick a third, and it's hard, I think just for nostalgia, I'm gonna just say all three. D1 guns. Chaperone, I would put in the third because that's obviously a D1 gun as well. All three of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also all kinetics. Weird.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, that's mine.
I'll probably take a note out of your book. I think my top 3, number 1 would be Monte Carlo, for giving me the ability to shoulder charge and skydive every day,
Nothing wrong with that.
all day, every day. But the Doom Marchers, it just made me fall in love with the Titan class all over again, especially with the Doom Marchers buff. It just made it so much
play
fun.
your way.
Yeah, you damn right.
Big
Thank
facts.
you,
Big
thank
old
you,
facts.
Luke Smith. Thank you for
No.
letting me play the way I want to. Second would be I'm going back to D1. I'm gonna say Icebreaker. The amount of cheese and solo nightfalls I achieved with that gun are off the charts. Valor Sahark Nightfall. I don't know if you remember that, Love, with the cheese in the back with the box. All day, every day. And for my third, I'm gonna say the Truth. Just
Truth, man.
Yeah, just because
Just truth.
I'm shit in PvP, and I don't like Gambit, and for some reason that gun in that playfield just makes me look like a god, and I can appreciate that.
That's a whole other conversation to have about Gambit. The reason why that gun is good is because it's a tracking rocket launcher, and you get heavy every 30 seconds. That's a whole other conversation.
Bro, your top 3 is like almost like the entire like whole half of like the most like organized. I wouldn't say OP. I'm gonna say the most organized guns in the PvP system right now. Like you have a shotgun that can map. You have to hit your shots. We know. And then you have Thorne that does DOT. And then what was the other one you had? Last word. Hip fire god that still maps and it does bonus damage and you don't even have to like hit your shots, bro. Like come on. That shit 3 or 4 taps everybody. Even if you have shit aim. I was using it the other day and I have shit aim. Like I can tell you I have shit aim.
Your second pick was a sniper that regenerated ammo from nothing.
Okay, Revoker, same shit. And that's T's favorite sniper, damn near.
That's
So
not
what are
fuck
we
you.
really
Fuck
talking
you.
about?
Fuck you, mate. If Icebreaker ever comes back, I'm out. I've
They
heard
bring back-
stories that gun. Nah, I'm out. I'm leaving.
They bring back Icebreaker, bro. I'll be on this game every day, bro. Every day. I just liked it because of the cheese potential. It was fun to use to like do solo shit with. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have to wait for my girl to get home from work. I could just get on and say, hey, look, I'm gonna solo Nightfall, and I'll be able to do some cheese with it, and I'll be able to, accomplish what I needed to.
If it was like Solar Burn and Specialist, like forget about it.
Gone, that's
like,
it, bro.
Just
That's
two-tap
all
the boss
you
and
needed.
you're on your way.
That's all you needed, bro. And you just sit.
No.
Or what was that strike with the big Hydra in the middle with the back cave that you would go back in the back of the cave? You remember that one from D1?
The back cave?
Not the back cave. The back. There's a back cave, like a back cave, like where it's a big Hydra in the middle, and it spawned the Minotaurs that kind of they ended up buffing it in the Nightfall to where it was like the Vault of Glass fight.
Yes,
and then
that was one of my favorite strikes.
What?
Yeah, on Venus.
I can't remember the name, but remember they had that back like cave you can solo. You can go back there. That Icebreaker all day. I could do it by myself. I did it like last month. I did it. That's a whole nother discussion. But one more question for you guys, and I'm gonna wrap things up with the rapid fire questions. How do you feel about the bounties? Like, do you think they'll ever get better, or do you think that we're just gonna be forever grinding bounties until Destiny 3 comes out?
So,
well,
bounties, huh?
I know we touched on it before, but I just wanted to get a little bit of input because the new season's coming and we're all doing bounties to get ready for it.
So, I've never been the one to like just do the mindless bounties, like both Jan and Love do. Like, I hate that.
I do it too.
I hate it so much.
Do you think I like it?
Y'all are all crazy.
You think I'm out here
y'all
enjoying
are all crazy.
this shit?
No,
Yeah,
Love.
then why are you playing the game?
Love hates it. Love. Listen, Love hates doing anything PVE. So when he runs out of PvP bounties, he has to do PVE shit with Jen. She's literally like maybe 5.5 feet away from me, and I can hear Love through the headphones complaining, like in my best Love voice. Ready? Why the fuck am I playing this shit?
I mean, that's accurate.
Why the
That's
fuck
extremely
are we
accurate.
playing this shit? And he's going the hell off. But like, I asked that because it's like, it's kind of like almost like a tradition now. In the last like probably like 3 seasons, like everybody's like, I mean, they probably did it before, but I was like T in the beginning. Like I never really like cared. Like I never really was like, oh, let me just stack up on. But now with the season pass and whatever the hell they want to call it now, and you have to get XP to level up your artifact and stuff like that to get XP, and then like the main way to get XP is bounties.
So my favorite thing to do when a season starts is do the story, do whatever, do your typical like powerful pickups like your strikes, your gambit, your crucible. I sometimes skip gambit because I don't like that playlist, but do your raids, do all that stuff. But then I just go into comp and I just play until I can't anymore, and that gives me powerful drops too.
Yeah, it does.
Like when we went for Garden of Salvation, I don't think I was the lowest one there. I was down there, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't the lowest one there. But I also hadn't done a single goddamn bounty because I ain't about it. So if when it comes to bounties, you can keep them the same. I already don't participate in them, so I don't care if they come or go. Honestly,
Love.
Well, okay. As far as the whole like stacking bounties thing, the reason we do that is very simple. It's to be as efficient as possible, to get ready, level up as fast as you can when the new season comes out. Obviously, I do it. I guess it's just a character flaw of mine. I want to be as efficient possible. I guess it's my OCD coming out. It's the same reason I speedrun strikes. Same reason I try to get through Crucible games as quick as I can, because I want to be efficient with my time and get as much done as I can.
Facts.
So while we're in this lull of having nothing to do, I think, well, I can just sit here and dunk on kids all day in Crucible, which is fun. Or I can get these bounties and get a head start. So when the next season comes out, I can level as best as I can and get ready for I don't probably nothing, to be completely honest at this point. But I'll be there. I'll be ready for it. I'll be ready for that new public event where you got to throw balls into a thing for 3 months. I'm here for it. Like I'm there, dude.
You didn't enjoy Sarah Taros at all? At all?
I can't tell you how bad I wanted to kill myself after all 4 of those. It was horrible. It was the worst shit it was bad.
I remember.
It wouldn't have been as bad if I wasn't doing the same goddamn thing for the 3 months before that came out. It's the same thing. It's throwing a ball into a thing. It's terrible.
Throwing a ball into a thing. Love 2020.
Put it on a t-shirt, dude. I'd buy it.
All right, so
buy the shit out of that.
I would too. Before we get out of here, I'm gonna hit you guys with some rapid fire questions. Some are for UT, and some are for Love, and some are for both. I will let you guys know what are both and which ones are for dad number 1, dad number 2. This is
Am I 1 or 2? Because I haven't figured that out yet.
You're 2. You're 2.
I'm
dad
2.
Dad is 1. Yeah, I was calling T dad before you.
Okay.
That's
Can I be like 3,
door.
and we could just skip 2 altogether, because I feel like it's like a weird like hierarchy thing. I just want to be 3.
Okay, dad 3. Dad 3.
Appreciate it.
You guys already touched up on this, so but Cade or Shax?
Fuck me.
Yeah, I came in with the hot shit. I ain't playing no more games.
It was made. Oh my god.
I did it.
Fuck.
Rapid fire, bro.
God.
Come on.
Cade.
Shax.
Look at you guys being against each other and shit. I got another one for you. This is for both of you guys. Last gun to choose, ace or last?
Like I only get to use one the rest of my life?
Last gun to choose, ace or last word? Forever. Only
Ace.
Last word.
Like, yeah, ace for sure.
This one's for love. Taken King or Dark Below?
Taken King.
Why?
Easy.
Why?
The fucking raid, dude. The raid alone. That was a raid. We got a strike in Dark
Listen,
Below. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me
Call-
wrong. I
d-
loved the
dog,
Crota raid. I
dog.
loved it. I loved the lore. It was
Listen,
fantastic. I
listen.
soloed that raid in 20 minutes.
That's
Come
cool,
on.
Dad. That's cool, Dad. But listen,
Okay, I'm gonna listen.
Taken King,
Yeah.
Taken King's raid to me. I think it was one. I think it was underrated. Two, I don't think anything in the raid was not like, what was it? What's the word I'm looking for? It's not in a sense of like being remembered as much as like, like Vault of Glass would be like Atheon Fight, blah 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 blah. The only thing about Taken King, what was it called? King's Fall, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that I liked out of the entire raid was the boss fight. Everything else up into that was ass.
Which one?
What do you mean, which one? King's Fall. The
Which boss fight, dog?
all of them
They were
shits
like-
was whack.
they
The
were cool.
sisters. I
right.
can't even remember the ones before that. Wasn't there like an ogre one before that? Like
Well,
they
I
dropped the
appreciate
water on top
taking
of
the
him
time
and
to
shit.
talk to me today. It's been good. I'm out. Fucking bye.
I think Oryx's raid was way better, dog. I don't know. That's just me.
You think Oryx's raid was way better?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Who do you think Oryx is? He's the Taken King, bud.
Oh yeah, he is. I got I got confused.
Wait,
I got it
hold
mixed. I got it mixed up.
Big oof.
I got it mixed up.
I rest my case.
I got it mixed up. Fuck it, let's move to the next question. Instead of bounties, this is for both of y'all. Instead of bounties, if they had to make you guys do one of the two, which ones would you rather do? Patrols or strikes?
Strikes. Speed run that shit.
I could do a strike quicker than a fucking bounty or a patrol easily.
Hashtag 10 to 15 minutes.
But what if they're like really
Lol.
long though?
What's a really long
They're
strike?
not.
Give
What is-
me a
what
long
is-
strike.
The
Give me a long strike, and I'll tell you how quick I finished it.
the
Go ahead.
moon one, the moon one.
The moon one.
Well, we got like
six and a
8,
half
9
minutes.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way.
We got splits, dog. We've been speed running them hoes.
Come watch
Put
our
it-
stream. Let's
put it in
shout
the
out
Discord.
HelloLove 43. Come check it out.
Put it in Discord. I need to see the splits.
All right.
I need to see the splits. Your timer's off, bro. Timer's off. This is another one for you. For love. Bolt of Glass or Crota?
Vault of Glass.
Best raid in D1.
Vault of Glass.
Hands down.
Hands down. It's close. Taking King's real good, but Vault of Glass got that something special. A first one. It's your first time. Like, it's special. Like, I can
agree.
Nothing
I
can get
lost.
better than Vault of Glass.
I lost my shit when we actually beat it for the first time, and I didn't kill myself with the Galahorn jumping out of my Titan bubble in mid.
Big facts.
Both of you guys. If you could be any of the enemy races, which one would it be?
Vex.
It's close pick between Vex or Fallen.
No love for the Cabal.
Fuck the
Hell
Cabal
no.
are
Yeah,
ass.
fuck the
They're
Cabal.
the most
Yeah, fuck 'em.
basic fucking pumpkin spice latte enemies in the game. They are basic.
Over the
I'd wanna
Fallen.
be-
I think the Fallen are more basic than the Cabal. At least they
I'd
got
wanna be
shields and
like-
dogs and shit. They got dogs. they have dogs.
We got dogs.
They got dogs,
We
dog.
got dogs.
They got
That needs to
dogs,
be their
dog.
shirt.
They got dogs, dog.
All right, okay.
Gun to my head though. I'm kind of with love here. Make me Vex and make me a fucking hobgoblin so I can annoy other
Yeah.
people like they annoy me.
Yeah. But since you didn't ask me, I'm gonna tell you why I said Vex. It's a whole race of smart boys. Fucking-
All right, next
It's a-
question.
it's-
Next question. Dad
as
3
big
over here
brain as you
tripping.
can get.
Dad 3 over here is tripping, bro. All right, Postmaster Katie or Banshee?
Banshee.
Banshee.
No love for Katie, bro.
Because if I take him on a bad date, he's not gonna remember it anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah,
Facts.
also, Banshee done be losing my shit.
Checking,
Big
checking,
facts.
checking. All right, and the last one is for both the honors, the most fitting. What is the best emote when you are shitting on kids in the Crucible?
The dab. It's been the
The
dab for
dab
like
is
6
really
years,
good.
dude. For me, when that first came out in D1, I lost my goddamn mind. I
Yeah,
have
I
not
did
taken
too.
that off since like 2015.
Yeah, I did too in D1. When they started putting like all the real dances in there, I was losing my fucking mind. Everybody was dabbing for no fucking apparent reason. It was like
I really like
AIDS.
I really like any confusion emote because that's typically what I try to go for is confuse people. So like anywhere where I'm just like looking around like a maniac, I feel like that's what they were doing. So I find that very funny. So
Yeah, Jen.
anything that's like confusion.
Jen likes those too. Like the stupid ones where they're looking around or counting on their hands or doing some dumb shit. She likes those ones too. But I think that's gonna wrap up the episode, guys. If you guys want to give anybody shout outs, where they can follow you, I don't know if you guys are big on like Facebook or Instagram or whatever, but I know you guys have Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that. So if you want, just leave your links and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. You can follow me at YouTube at HelloLove43 or Twitch HelloLove43 or Twitter at HelloLove43. I got all the shit, baby.
All the shit
down.
All the shits.
Yeah, same for me. It's just T space Senai Senai. It's for everything. Everything. You can find me anywhere.
Everything. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in, being on the podcast. I guess we'll get off and we'll get on some Crucible. You guys gonna play?
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm about to shoot some ace, dog. Talking about it so much.
I actually been playing with a lot of ace, so I might actually I have it on my warlock. I have it on my warlock and play with some ace. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Everybody that tuned in, appreciate you guys. Catch us on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we out. I love you, Dad. Dads.
Bye.
We love you too, son.